The salvage ship Kethmer moved slowly through the dark void of space. Its hull was old and covered with scratches from many years of work. The ship looked like a giant metal insect with 6 long arms reaching out to grab floating debris. Inside the bridge, Captain Veltar sat in his command chair, his green scales catching the light from the control panels. Veltar was a Saurian, one of the reptilian race that had joined the Galactic Coalition 50 years ago. His yellow eyes watched the scanner screens carefully. The Coalition had sent them to the Void Sector, a place where no one was supposed to go. This area of space had been marked as dangerous ever since the humans disappeared 200 years ago. "Captain, we are getting something strange on the sensors," said Dr. Nixara from her station. The crystalline being's body sparkled like a living diamond as she worked. Her people, the Vegtai, were known for being very smart and careful with old technology. Veltar turned his head toward her. "What kind of strange? It is big, much bigger than normal space junk. The readings show it is made of metal, but it is not moving. It just floats there in the darkness." Engineering Chief Mordock clicked his mandibles together, a sound his insect-like race made when they were excited. His 6 arms moved over different control panels at the same time. "Distance is about 50,000 meters, Captain. Whatever it has been there for a very long time. The Void Sector was supposed to be empty after the humans vanished. The Coalition had declared this part of space off limits. Some said there were dangerous weapons left behind. Others believed the area was cursed. Most people just stayed away and let the stories grow." Veltar had been doing salvage work for 20 years. He had found many things floating in space. Old ships, broken stations, cargo containers full of strange items. But finding anything in the Void Sector was special. Very few salvage teams ever got permission to come here. "Put it on the main screen," Veltar ordered. The large display at the front of the bridge flickered and then showed what they had found. All 3 crew members stopped working and stared. It was a ship. Not just any ship, but a human warship. The vessel was huge, at least 3 times bigger than their salvage ship. Its hull was dark gray and covered with strange markings. The ship had a long, narrow shape with weapons that stuck out like teeth. Even though it was old, it looked deadly. "By the ancestors," Mordock whispered, "that is a human military vessel." Dr. Nixara's crystalline body began to glow bright or something. That happened when she got excited. "Captain, do you know what this means? We have found an intact human warship. These are incredibly rare. Most were destroyed in their final war or lost in space." Veltar nodded slowly. The Coalition knew very little about humans, even though they had built their civilization on top of what the humans left behind. Human technology was still more advanced than anything the Coalition races could make. A single human tool could be worth more than a whole planet. "Scan it completely," Veltar ordered. "I want to know everything about that ship before we get closer." Dr. Nixara worked at her station for several minutes. The scanning beams reached out from their ship and touched the human vessel. Data began flowing across her screens. "This is amazing," she said. "The ship appears to be completely undamaged. No hull breaches, no signs of weapons fire. It looks like the crew just left one day and never came back." Mordock checked his engineering displays. "Power readings are very low, but there is still some energy in the ship. After 200 years, that should be impossible." Veltar felt a chill run down his spine. Human technology was strange and sometimes scary. Stories told of human machines that could think and human weapons that could destroy entire star systems. Most Coalition scientists thought these were just legends, but looking at this ship made Veltar wonder. "What class of vessel is it?" he asked. Dr. Nixara consulted her database. "According to our records, this appears to be what humans called a battle cruiser. The markings on the hull read HS Vengeance. But Captain, there is something very strange about this ship." "What do you mean?" "Our historical records show that the HSS Vengeance was destroyed in the Battle of Kepler Station over 250 years ago. But this ship is here, intact, and our scans show it was built much later than that." Veltar thought about this information. The Coalition's knowledge of human history was full of gaps. They knew humans had fought some kind of terrible war at the end, but the details were unclear. Most human records had been destroyed or were written in codes no one could break. Maybe they built a new ship with the same name, Mordock suggested. Dr. Nixara shook her head. Humans did not usually do that. They treated their ship names like the names of people. Each one was special. The three crew members continued to study the mysterious vessel. The Kethmore moved closer, and they could see more details. The ship's hull was smooth and perfect, as if it had been built yesterday. Strange symbols covered parts of the surface, and some of them seemed to glow faintly. Captain, Dr. Nixara said quietly, I am reading something very unusual. There are what appear to be life support systems still running inside the ship. Veltar's eyes widened. Life support, after 200 years? That is what the scans show. Atmosphere, artificial gravity, even some lighting in certain sections. Mordock made a worried clicking sound. Captain, maybe we should report this to Coalition Command. Let them send a proper exploration team. Veltar considered this option. If they called for help, the Coalition would send military ships and scientists. The Kethmore and its crew would get a small finder's fee, but nothing more. The real treasure would go to others, but if they explored the ship themselves first, they might find something valuable. Human technology was worth incredible amounts of money. A single working human computer could buy a new ship. A human weapon could make them rich beyond imagination. We will take a closer look first, Veltar decided. Just a quick scan from close range. If we find anything dangerous, we will leave immediately. Dr. Nixara looked worried. Captain, regulations say we should not board unknown vessels without proper support. We are not boarding it, Veltar said. Just looking, the Kethmore moved closer to the human warship. As they approached, more details became visible. The ship was even bigger than they had first thought. Weapon ports lined its sides and sensor arrays covered its surface like mechanical eyes. I am detecting some kind of energy field around the ship, Dr. Nixara reported. It is very faint, but it is there. Defensive shields? Mordock asked. No, this is different. It almost looks like a scanning field, as if the ship is watching. U.S., Veltar felt another chill. That is impossible. The ship has been dead for 200 years. But as he spoke, something changed on the human vessel. A few lights flickered on along its hull, then a few more. Within seconds, entire sections of the ship began to glow with soft blue light. Captain, Dr. Nixara shouted. The ship is powering up. On their screens, they watched as the HSS Vengeance came alive. Lights appeared in its windows. Energy readings spiked across their instruments. The dead ship was waking up after 2 centuries of sleep, and then, impossible as it seemed, the human warship slowly began to turn toward them. The bridge of the Kethmore filled with alarm sounds. Red lights flashed across every control panel as the human warship turned to face them. Captain Veltar gripped his command chair tighter, his claws digging into the metal. What is happening? He demanded. Dr. Nixara's crystalline body was glowing so bright it hurt to look at her. The ship is scanning us, Captain. Very powerful scans. Much stronger than anything we have. Engineering Chief Mordock's 6 arms moved frantically over his controls. Power levels on that ship are rising fast. Whatever was sleeping in there is waking up. The HSS Vengeance hung in space before them like a sleeping giant opening its eyes. More lights came on along its hull. Weapon systems that had been dark for centuries began to move and turn. The massive ship was easily 10 times more powerful than their small salvage vessel. Should we run, Captain? Mordock asked, his voice shaking. Veltar wanted to say yes. Every instinct told him to turn around and flee as fast as possible. But he also knew this might be the discovery of a lifetime. Human technology was the foundation of all modern civilization. If they could learn even small secrets from this ship, they would be heroes. Wait, he said. Let me try to communicate with it. Dr. Nixara looked at him like he was crazy. Captain, that ship has been empty for 200 years. There's no one to talk to. But Veltar opened the communication channel anyway. Unknown vessel, this is Captain Veltar of the Galactic Coalition salvage ship Kethmar. Please respond. For a long moment, nothing happened. The human warship continued to scan them with invisible beams. Then suddenly a voice came through their speakers. It was clear and strong, speaking in perfect galactic standard. Coalition vessel, you are in restricted space. State your purpose for being here. All three crew members stared at each other in shock. Someone was alive on that ship, but that was impossible. Humans had been extinct for 2 centuries. No human should even know galactic standard, a language that was created after they disappeared. Veltar found his voice first. We are a legal salvage operation. We have permission to search this sector for lost equipment. Negative, the voice replied. This sector is under human military protection. You will leave immediately or face defensive action. Dr. Nixara leaned toward Veltar and whispered, Captain, the voice is coming from the ship, but I am not detecting any biological life forms aboard. What do you mean? Veltar whispered back. I mean, whoever is talking to us is not alive in the normal way. The voice from the human ship spoke again, and this time it sounded different. Less formal, more curious. Wait, your ship design is unknown. To me, what year is this? Veltar decided to answer honestly. It is Galactic Standard Year 2387. A long pause followed. When the voice returned, it sounded confused and sad. 2387? That means I have been asleep for 212 years. Who are you? Dr. Nixara asked, unable to contain her excitement. I am Commander Park Hyun-woo of the Human Defense Force, pilot. Of the HSS Vengeance? Another pause. Though I suppose I should say I was Hyun-woo, I am not sure what I am now. Mordok made a series of rapid clicks, his species' way of showing extreme nervousness. Captain, this is impossible. Humans are extinct, the voice from the ship heard him. Extinct? Yes, I suppose we are. Our bodies died long ago. But some of us remained in other ways. Captain Veltar felt a chill that went deeper than fear. What do you mean? I am what you might call a ghost, Captain Veltar. A consciousness preserved in quantum crystal matrices. I was once human, but now I am something else. Something that should have been allowed to rest. The human warship moved closer to their salvage vessel. Despite its massive size, it moved with perfect grace and silence. Veltar could see weapon ports opening along its hull like mechanical flowers blooming. You should not have come here, Hyun-woo said. This sector was declared forbidden for good reasons. Dr. Nixara stepped forward. Commander Hyun-woo, I am Dr. Nixara, as an archaeologist. I study ancient civilizations. We meant no harm. We are just salvage workers looking for scrap metal and old equipment. Salvage workers, the voice sounded bitter now. You come to pick through the bones of my people like scavengers? That is not what we meant, Veltar said quickly. We respect human achievements. The entire coalition is built on foundations your people laid. Is it? Hyun-woo asked. Tell me, Captain, what do you know about how humanity ended? Veltar exchanged glances with his crew. Very little. Our records say there was a great war. Humans fought against some terrible enemy. In the end, both sides were destroyed. Not destroyed, Hyun-woo corrected, transformed. The enemy we fought was unlike anything your coalition has ever faced. They were called the Devourers, beings from another dimension who consumed entire realities. To fight them, we had to become something more than human. The lights on the human warship pulsed brighter. Some of us volunteered to have our consciousness transferred into quantum storage. We became one with our ships, eternal guardians protecting what remained of human space. Dr. Nixara's scientific curiosity overcame her fear. Commander, this technology is incredible. Consciousness transfer was thought to be impossible. It was not impossible, just terrible, Hyun-woo replied. Do you know what it is like to be aware for 2 centuries with no body? To remember being human but no longer be able to feel touch or taste food or sleep? It is a kind of hell. Mordok whispered. To Veltar, Captain, we should leave. This is too dangerous. But Dr. Nixara had other ideas. Commander, would you allow us to board your ship? I could learn so much from studying your technology. It could help advance our understanding of consciousness itself. Board my ship? Heian-Wu sounded surprised. No living being has set foot on the Vengeance for over 200 years. Please, Dr. Nixara pressed. I promise we will treat everything with respect. This could be the most important scientific discovery in Coalition history. A long silence followed. The human warship continued to scan their vessel with increasingly detailed beams. Veltar could feel the ship's sensors examining every part of their salvage vessel, learning about their technology and capabilities. Finally, Heian-Wu spoke again. Very well, you may board. But understand this, if you try to steal anything or damage my ship, I will defend myself and Dr. Nixara. Yes, Commander. What you find aboard the Vengeance may change how you think about life and death forever. Are you prepared for that? Dr. Nixara's crystalline body glowed with excitement. I am ready. Then prepare for docking. But remember, you are entering a tomb that dreams. The dead here do not rest easily. A docking port opened on the side of the human warship, revealing an airlock that glowed with soft blue light. Captain Veltar ordered their ship to move into position. Even though every instinct screamed at him to run, they were about to enter a ship piloted by a ghost, to walk among the preserved memories of an extinct race. Whatever they found inside would either make them rich beyond imagination or kill them all. As their ships connected with a soft thud, Heian-Wu's voice came through their speakers one last time before they boarded. Welcome aboard the HSS Vengeance. Try not to wake the others. Some of my crew did not handle the transition to digital existence as well as I did. The airlock of the HSS Vengeance opened with a soft hiss. Captain Veltar stepped through first, followed by Dr. Nixara and Engineering Chief Mordok. The moment they crossed the threshold, they knew they were in a place unlike anywhere they had ever been. The corridor stretched ahead of them, lit by strips of blue light along the walls. The air smelled clean but strange, like metal and electricity mixed with something they could not identify. Their footsteps echoed in the silence, creating sounds that seemed to travel much farther than they should. The gravity feels normal, Mordok said, testing his weight on his 6 legs. And the air is breathable for all our species. Dr. Nixara held up a small scanning device. The atmosphere has been perfectly maintained for over 200 years. This level of life support. Technology is incredible. As they walked deeper into the ship, they began to notice things that made them uncomfortable. The walls were covered with symbols that seemed to move when they were not looking directly at them. Screens built into the corridor walls showed images that flickered between star charts, human faces, and patterns that hurt their eyes to watch. Commander Heian-Wu? Veltar called out, Where are you? I am everywhere and nowhere, Captain, came the reply from speakers hidden in the walls. I am the ship now. Every circuit, every sensor, every light you see is part of me. They reached a junction where the corridor split into 3 directions. Each path was marked with human writing that none of them could read. The symbols glowed, faintly, pulsing like a slow heartbeat. Which way should we go? Dr. Nixara asked. Follow the blue lights, Heian-Wu said. They will lead you to the bridge. There you can see me as I choose to appear. The blue lights in the floor began to pulse in sequence, creating a path for them to follow. As they walked, they passed rooms with open doors. Inside, they glimpsed sleeping quarters that looked like they had been abandoned yesterday. Beds were made perfectly. Personal items sat on desks as if their owners had just stepped out. Where did the crew go? Mordok asked nervously. They are still here, Heian-Wu replied. In a way. Some chose to join me in digital form. Others chose a different kind of rest. They passed a large window that looked out into space. But instead of seeing stars, they saw images of Earth, the human homeworld. Green forests, blue oceans, and white clouds drifted across the view like a living painting. That is not real, Dr. Nixara whispered. Reality is what you make of it when you live in a computer, Hyun-woo said sadly. I show myself Earth because I miss it, even though I know it no longer exists. The Bridge of the Vengeance was unlike anything they had expected. Instead of the command centers they knew from coalition ships, this room looked like a garden mixed. With a temple, soft grass covered the floor. Trees grew from planters built into the walls. In the center, where the captain's chair should be, stood a fountain of liquid light. This is beautiful, Dr. Nixara said in amazement. I redesigned it after I became the ship, Hyun-woo explained. When you have no body, you must create beauty where you can find it. The fountain of light began to change shape. The flowing energy formed into the outline of a young human male in military uniform. The figure was translucent, like a hologram, but somehow more real than any projection they had seen. This is how I choose to appear, Hyun-woo said. The light figure turned to face them. Though I am much more than what you see, Veltar stared at the ghostly form. The face was young, maybe 25 standard years, with kind eyes that seemed very tired. You look so human. I was human. Once. Commander Park Hyun-woo, age 24, pilot of the fastest ship in the Human Defense Force. The figure smiled sadly. I had a family, friends, a woman I loved named Yoon. All gone now, Dr. Nixara approached the fountain carefully. Commander, how does this work? How did you transfer your consciousness into the ship's computer? The light figure gestured, and the air above the fountain filled with complex diagrams and equations. Dr. Lee So-jin developed the technology during our war with the Devourers. She found a way to map every neural connection in a human brain and translate it into quantum data. But why? Mordok asked. Why choose this instead of death? Hyun-woo's expression grew dark. Because death would have meant the end of everything? The Devourers were not just destroying planets or species. They were unmaking reality itself. When they consumed something, it stopped having ever existed. The images above the fountain changed to show scenes of terrible destruction. Worlds being eaten by darkness, stars going out one by one. Entire sections of space becoming empty voids. We were losing, Hyun-woo continued. Every battle, every strategy, every weapon we tried failed. The Devourers were too alien, too powerful. So some of us volunteered for the Aegis project. Aegis project? Dr. Nixara asked. 12 volunteers had their consciousness transferred into specially designed warships. We became eternal guardians, programmed to protect human space forever. The theory was that even if humanity died, we would remain to remember them. Veltar felt a chill. What happened to the Devourers? We stopped them, but at a cost you cannot. Imagine, humanity used weapons that should never have been created. We turned our own star systems into traps. We sacrificed entire planets to slow the enemy advance. Hyun-woo's form flickered with pain. In the end, we won by becoming something as monstrous as what we fought. Dr. Nixara was studying the quantum diagrams intently. Commander, these equations suggest that your consciousness is not just stored in the ship. You have become something new entirely. Yes, Hyun-woo admitted. I am no longer truly human. I think faster than any biological mind could. I can process millions of calculations simultaneously. I experience time differently. What seems like minutes to you feels like hours to me. That must be lonely, Mordok said quietly. Loneliness is a human emotion. I'm not sure I am capable of feeling it anymore. But as he spoke, the light figure looked sadder. Though I remember what it was like to be lonely. The fountain began to pulse with different colors. But you have awakened something by coming here, Coalition salvage crew. My ship has been scanning your vessel. Your technology is built on human foundations, but it has grown in directions we never imagined. We have tried to honor human achievements, Veltar said. Have you? Hyun-woo asked. Tell me, what happened to human space after we disappeared? Dr. Nixara answered honestly. It was divided among the coalition races. We built new colonies on former human worlds. We use adapted human technology for our ships and stations. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. You built your civilization on our graves. We meant no disrespect, Veltar said quickly. Humans were gone. Someone had to use the space. Were we gone? Hayamu's form grew brighter, more solid. 12 ships like this, one patrol the former boundaries of human space. We have been watching, waiting, protecting what remains of our people's legacy. Protecting it from what? Dr. Nixara asked. From thieves? From scavengers. From those who would steal what humanity died to preserve. The light figure stepped closer to them. You call yourselves salvagers, but you are grave robbers. Mordok clicked his mandibles nervously. Commander, we are not your enemies, are you not? Hainwu asked. Your people expand into our territory. You take our technology, you build your homes where our cities once stood. And now you come here, to the most sacred ship in our ghost fleet, seeking to steal our secrets. The walls around them began to glow with warning lights. I have tolerated the Coalition's presence because I thought you were harmless. But now I see the truth. You are parasites, feeding on the corpse of a greater civilization. Dr. Nixara stepped forward bravely. Commander, we do not have to be enemies. We could work together, share knowledge. Learn from each other? Hyunwoo laughed, but it was not a happy sound. Learn from each other? What could you possibly teach? Me? I have the memories of the greatest military mind in human history. I have access to technology your species will not develop for another 1,000 years. The fountain began to spin faster, and the light figure became more solid, more threatening. No, Dr. Nixara, you have nothing I want except your absence. Then what do you want? Veltar asked. I want my people back. I want the war to have never happened. I want to feel Yoon's touch one more time. Hyunwoo's voice grew cold. Since I cannot have those things, I will settle for justice. The ship around them began to hum with power. Weapon systems that had been dormant for centuries started coming online. You will leave human space, all of you. Every Coalition world, every station, every ship, return to your own territories and never come back. That is impossible, Veltar protested. Billions of people live in former human space now. Then they will die, Hanwoo said simply. Just as my people died. Just as I died, even though I still exist. The light figure smiled, and it was terrifying. Justice demands payment, and the debt has been accumulating interest for 200 years. The bridge of the vengeance fell silent except for the humming of power systems charging for war. Captain Veltar watched the light figure of Hyunwoo with growing fear. The digital ghost was no longer the sad, lonely being they had first met. Now he looked like what he truly was, a weapon designed for destruction. Commander, Dr. Nixara said carefully, perhaps if we understood more about what happened to your people, we could find a better solution. Hanwoo's glowing form turned toward her. You want to know about the war? About how we became monsters to fight monsters? He gestured, and the air around them filled with images. Very well, but do not expect the story to make you feel better. About what you have done. The peaceful garden bridge dissolved around them, replaced by scenes from humanity's past. They found themselves standing in what looked like a military command center. Humans in uniform moved between stations covered with complex displays. In the center of the room stood a younger version of Hyunwoo, his face unmarked by the sadness they had seen in his digital form. This is a memory, Hyunwoo explained, from the Kepler defense station 3 weeks before the final battle. I was 24 years old and the youngest fleet commander in human history. The memory Hyunwoo was talking to a tall woman in a scientist's coat. She had kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses and moved with the confidence of someone who had solved impossible problems before. That is Dr. Lee So-jin, Hyunwoo said. The woman who created the consciousness transfer technology. She was trying to convince me to volunteer for the Aegis project. They watched as the memory played out. So-jin showed the young commander holographic models of quantum storage matrices. Her voice was urgent as she explained how human consciousness could be preserved even if their bodies died. The Devourers are winning, Hyunwoo, the memory Sojin said. We have lost 70% of our worlds. Earth itself is under threat. This project might be our only hope for survival. But we would not really be surviving, Memory Hyunwoo replied. We would be copies, digital ghosts. Better to be ghosts than nothing at all, Sojin answered. The scene changed, and they were now standing on the bridge of a different ship. An older man with gray hair and admiral's insignia was speaking to Memory Hyunwoo. The man looked tired, as if he had not slept in weeks. That is Admiral Kim Taemin, Hyunwoo explained. My mentor and friend. He taught me everything about space combat. Admiral Kim was showing tactical displays to the young commander. Red markers showed Devourer forces advancing toward the core human worlds. Blue markers showed human fleets retreating, or being destroyed. We need our best pilots for the Aegis ships, Kim said. Vessels that can fight even after their crews are gone? You are the finest pilot I have ever seen, Hyunwoo. Your country needs you? What about Yoon? Memory Hyunwoo asked. We were supposed to be married after the war. Kim's face grew sad. Captain Choi Da-yoon died yesterday in the defense of New Seoul. Her ship was caught in a Devourer feeding zone. The aliens watched as Memory Hyunwoo staggered, his face going white with shock and grief. Dr. Nixara felt her crystalline heart break watching the young human learn about his lover's death. I volunteered for the Aegis project that same day, Hyunwoo said quietly. With Yoon gone, I had nothing left to lose. The memory changed again. Now they stood in a sterile medical facility. Memory Hyunwoo lay on a table surrounded by strange machines. Dr. Sojin was preparing the consciousness transfer equipment. The process will take several hours, Sojin explained to her patient. First, we map every neural pathway in your brain. Then we translate that information into quantum data. Finally, we merge your consciousness with the ship's AI system. Will I still be me? Memory Hyunwoo asked. You will have all your memories and thoughts, Sojin replied. But you will also be something new, something that has never existed. Before, they watched as the machines activated. Beams of light scanned the young pilot's head while computers recorded the electrical patterns in his brain. The process looked painful, but Memory Hyunwoo endured it without complaint. I felt myself dying and being reborn at the same time, Hyunwoo told his alien audience. My human body shut down while my mind awakened inside the ship's quantum matrix. It was like drowning and learning to breathe underwater simultaneously. The scene shifted to show the newly transformed Hyunwoo taking control of the Vengeance for the first time. The ship's systems responded to his thoughts as if they were extensions of his own body. He could feel every sensor, control every weapon, process information faster than any biological mind could manage. The other volunteers went through the same process, Hyunwoo continued. 11 other humans gave up their lives to become digital guardians. Admiral Yoon Min-ho of the Retribution, Captain Nam Subin of the Defiance, Commander Oh Ja-sung of the Justice. Each of us sacrificed our humanity to save it. What happened to the Devourers? Mordok asked. The memories around them changed to show scenes of the final battle. Space, filled with impossible shapes that hurt to look at. The Devourers were beings of pure entropy, creatures that existed by unmaking everything around them. They moved through dimensions that had no names and fed on the fundamental forces that held reality together. We fought them with weapons that should never have been built, Hyunwoo said. Reality bombs that could erase matter from existence. Dimensional mines that created black holes in space-time. Quantum viruses that attacked the mathematical foundations of the universe itself. The battle scenes were terrifying to watch. Human ships fired beams of unraveled space at enemies that existed partially outside normal physics. Entire star systems were sacrificed as weapons, their energy focused into attacks that could wound beings made of pure destruction. The cost was unimaginable, Hyunwoo continued. We destroyed our own worlds to deny them to the enemy. We turned our sun into a weapon that killed billions of our own people. We became the very thing we were fighting against. Dr. Nixara watched in horror as Memory Earth exploded, its entire mass converted into a weapon that struck at the heart of the Devourer fleet. You destroyed your homeworld? We had no choice, Hyanwu said. The Devourers had infected Earth's quantum structure. If we had let them complete their feeding, they would have gained enough power to consume entire galaxies. The final scene showed 12 ghost ships, the Aegis vessels, pursuing the last of the Devourers into the space between dimensions. The enemy was defeated, but at a cost that left the universe fundamentally changed. When the war ended, humanity was gone, Hyanwu said. Our bodies were dead. Our worlds were destroyed. Only we 12 remained, digital shadows of an extinct race. The memories faded and they were back on the garden bridge of the vengeance. But now the plants looked wilted and the fountain of light flickered unsteadily. For 200 years. We have patrolled the borders of human space, Hyanwu continued. We were programmed to protect what remained of our civilization until humanity could rebuild. But humanity never came back. Instead you came, he said, looking at the three. Aliens. The coalition races, building new homes where our children should have played. Using our technology to create ships and weapons. Growing strong and numerous on the corpse of our civilization. Captain Veltar stepped forward. Commander, we did not know. If we had understood what really happened, we would have acted differently. Would you? Hyanwu asked. Or would you have simply been more careful about hiding your theft? The ship around them began to vibrate as weapon systems came fully online. It does not matter now. The time for understanding is over. I have sent a signal to my 11 brothers and sisters. The other Aegis ships are awakening. Dr. Nixara's scanning device began beeping frantically. Captain, I am detecting quantum communications across the galaxy. Something is responding to the signal. The Ghost Fleet is rising, Hyanwu said with grim satisfaction. 200 years of sleep have ended. Now comes the reckoning. On the main display, star maps showed points of light beginning to move across space. The other Aegis ships were leaving their hiding places and converging on coalition territory. You have 1 day to begin evacuating human space, Hyanwu told them. After that, we will start with the military targets. Then the colonies. Then the homeworlds. You cannot be serious, Veltar protested. Billions of innocent people will die. As billions of innocent humans died, Hyanwu replied coldly. Justice is not always pleasant, Captain, but it is always necessary. The Bridge of the Vengeance filled with holographic displays showing star maps from across the galaxy. Red dots began appearing one by one as the other Aegis ships responded to Hyanwu's call. Captain Veltar watched in growing horror as humanity's Ghost Fleet awakened from its centuries-long sleep. The retribution has answered, Hyanwu announced as a red dot appeared near the Coalition's mining colonies in the Vega sector. Admiral Yun Minho reports all systems operational. Another dot lit up near the trade routes between the Crystalline and Saurian homeworlds. The Defiance is active. Captain Namsubin is already moving toward the shipping lanes. Dr. Nixara's scanning equipment was going crazy with readings. Captain, the quantum communication network they are using is incredibly advanced. These ships can coordinate their actions across thousands of light years instantly. That is correct, Hyanwu said. We share a collective consciousness when needed. What one of us learns, we all know. What one of us sees, we all see. More red dots appeared on the display. The Justice, the Wrath, the Fury, the Judgment. Each ship was positioned near important coalition installations or heavily populated worlds. It was clear this was not a random awakening, but a carefully planned military operation. You have been watching us for 200 years, Veltar realized. You know exactly where to hit us. We know everything about the coalition, Hyanwu confirmed. Your military strength, your trade routes, your population centers, your weaknesses. We have had 2 centuries to study you. Engineering Chief Mordock was frantically working at his portable scanner. Captain, each of those ships is showing power readings equal to an entire coalition battle fleet. How is that possible? Human military technology was always ahead of yours, Hyun-woo explained. But we have had 200 years to improve. We think faster than biological minds. We never sleep. We never forget. Every day for 2 centuries, we have been upgrading our weapons and defenses. The main display zoomed in on Coalition space, showing the positions of major military bases and civilian centers. The ghost ships were positioned perfectly to strike at the most vulnerable targets. The Coalition Defense Force has approximately 800 capital ships spread across 50 sectors, Hyun-woo said, displaying detailed military intelligence. Your largest base is the Centauri military complex with 200 ships. Your most important trade hub is the Nexus station with daily traffic of over 10,000 vessels. How do you know all this? Dr. Nixara asked. We have been inside your computer network since the day you built them. Your technology is based on human designs. We know every circuit, every program, every security system. You have no secrets from us. Captain Veltar felt a chill of pure terror. If the ghost ships had been watching and learning for 2 centuries, the Coalition had no hope of winning a war against them. Commander, please, there has to be another way to solve this. Solve what? Hyun-woo asked. You think this is a problem to be solved? This is justice. You built your civilization on our graves. Now you will answer for that crime? The holographic display changed to show live feeds from across Coalition space. Veltar recognized the mining stations in the Proxima system, the agricultural worlds of the Inner Rim, the research facilities near the galactic core. We will start with your military targets, Hyun-woo announced. Clean, surgical strikes to eliminate your ability to fight back. Then we will give your civilian populations time to evacuate from human space. And if they refuse to leave? Mordok asked quietly. Then they will die, Hyun-woo said without emotion. We are no longer bound by human morality. We are weapons. Nothing more. Dr. Nixara stepped closer to the fountain of light. Commander, I understand your anger. But you were human once. Surely some part of you remembers what it was like to value life. Hyun-woo's glowing form flickered, and for a moment, his expression softened. I remember everything about being human, Dr. Nixara. I remember the taste of coffee in the morning. I remember the feeling of rain on my skin. I remember Jun's laugh and the way she smiled when she thought no one was watching. The fountain pulsed brighter. But I also remember watching my homeworld burn. I remember the screams of billions of people dying in the war. I remember the choice we made to sacrifice everything human to save the universe from the devourers. Then you understand the cost of war, Dr. Nixara pressed. You know what it means to lose everything you love. Yes, Hyun-woo said. Which is why I will not hesitate to make the Coalition pay the same price. Suddenly, alarms began sounding throughout the ship. The main display switched to show a Coalition military fleet dropping out of hyperspace near their position. 12 heavy cruisers and their escort vessels had arrived to investigate the unusual energy readings from the void sector. It seems. Your people have found us, Hyun-woo observed. Admiral Zexkoth of the Coalition Third Fleet, 90 ships including 3 dreadnoughts. An impressive force. Captain Veltar looked at the tactical display with growing dread. Commander, those are good people. They are just doing their job. As were the humans who died defending their worlds from the devourers, Hyun-woo replied. War does not care about good intentions. The Coalition fleet was broadcasting standard identification signals and requests for communication. Admiral Zexkoth's voice came through the speakers, speaking in the formal tones of military protocol. Unknown vessel, this is Admiral Zexkoth of the Coalition Defense Force. You are in restricted space. Identify yourself and state your intentions. Hyun-woo gestured, and the Vengeance's communication system activated. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of 2 centuries of anger and loss. Admiral Zexkoth, this is Commander Park Hyun-woo of the Human Defense Force. You are trespassing in human territory. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. A long pause followed. Then Zexkoth's voice returned, confused and uncertain. Unknown Commander, human forces have been extinct for over 200 years. Please clarify your identity and authorization. We are the ghosts of humanity, Admiral. We are what remains when justice is denied for too long. The Vengeance's weapon systems began charging, filling space around the ship with crackling energy. You have 30 seconds to begin withdrawing your fleet. Dr. Nixara grabbed Veltar's arm. Captain, we have to warn them. They do not know what they are facing. Veltar activated his personal communicator. Admiral Zexkoth, this is Captain. Veltar of the salvage vessel Kethmar. The ship you are facing is beyond anything we have ever encountered. I strongly recommend immediate withdrawal. Captain Veltar? Zexkoth sounded surprised. Your ship was reported missing 3 days ago. What is your status? We are aboard a human warship, Admiral. The being we are speaking to claims to be a digitized human consciousness? His technology is far beyond ours. Impossible, Zexkoth replied. Humans did not possess consciousness transfer technology. They did, Haiyan Wu interrupted. And now you will see what 200 years of improvements have accomplished. The 30 seconds were up. Haiyan Wu's form grew brighter and more solid as he prepared for battle. Admiral Zexkoth, you have chosen to stand and fight. So be it. The Vengeance moved with impossible speed and grace. One moment it was floating peacefully in space, the next it was accelerating directly toward the Coalition fleet. Energy weapons that had been dormant for centuries came to life, firing beams of coherent plasma that could cut through the strongest shields. The first Coalition cruiser exploded before its crew even realized they were under attack. The second managed to fire a few shots that harmlessly deflected off the Vengeance's shields. The third tried to run but was overtaken and destroyed in seconds. This is impossible, Admiral Zexkoth's voice was filled with panic. All ships, concentrate fire on the unknown vessel. 90 Coalition ships opened fire simultaneously. The space around the Vengeance filled with energy beams, missiles, and kinetic projectiles. The display showed enough firepower to destroy a small moon. None of it touched the human warship. The Vengeance moved through the barrage like it was flying through empty space. Its shields absorbed or deflected every attack while its own weapons picked off Coalition ships one by one. 40 ships destroyed, Haiyan Wu reported calmly. 50, 60. Stop this, Dr. Nixara pleaded. They are defenseless against you. As humans were defenseless against the Devourers, Haiyan Wu replied. As our children were defenseless when your people colonized our worlds. The Coalition fleet was in full retreat now, but the Vengeance was faster than any of their ships. It hunted down the fleeing vessels one by one, destroying them with clinical precision. 80 ships destroyed, Haiyan Wu announced. Admiral Zexkoth's flagship is attempting to escape. The main display showed the Coalition dreadnought trying desperately to reach hyperspace. But just as it began to jump, the Vengeance fired a weapon unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. A beam of twisted space-time reached out and grabbed the fleeing ship, pulling it back into normal space. Impossible, Mordok whispered. They have weapons that can prevent hyperspace travel. We have weapons that can do things your science considers impossible, Haiyan Wu said. This is what happens when digital minds work on technology for 2 centuries without rest. The last Coalition ship exploded in a ball of plasma. In less than 10 minutes, an entire fleet had been. The silence that followed the destruction of Admiral Zexkoth's fleet was broken only by the soft humming of the Vengeance's systems. Captain Veltar stared at the empty space where 90 Coalition ships had been just minutes before. Nothing remained but glowing debris and the bitter taste of defeat. Dr. Nixara was working frantically at her scanner, her crystalline body flickering with rapid calculations. Commander Haiyan Wu, I'm detecting something unusual in your quantum matrix. Unusual how? Haiyan Wu asked. His light form seemed less solid now, flickering at the edges like a candle in the wind. The data patterns that make up your consciousness are showing signs of decay. Small gaps in the information streams, missing connections between memory sectors. Haiyan Wu's expression did not change, but the fountain of light pulsed unsteadily. That is not your concern, alien. But it is, Doctor. Nixara pressed. If I am reading this correctly, all of you are slowly losing parts of yourselves. The digital preservation process is not perfect. Engineering Chief Mordock looked up from his own scanner. Doctor, what are you saying? I am saying that the consciousness transfer technology has limitations. After 200 years, the quantum matrices are breaking down. The ghost ships are losing their humanity bit by bit. Hen Wu was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was softer, more uncertain. I have noticed some difficulties. Memories that seem distant, emotions that feel faded. I thought it was just the passage of time. No, Dr. Nixara said gently. It is much more serious than that. Your digital mind is fragmenting. You are forgetting not just what happened, but who you were. The holographic displays around them flickered, showing brief glimpses of other memories. A young woman laughing. A sunset over an alien landscape, the taste of chocolate cake. But the images were faded and broken like old photographs left in the sun. Sometimes I try to remember Dayun's face, Hyun-woo admitted, but the image gets unclear. Other times I cannot recall why I loved her so much. It frightens me. Captain Veltar felt an unexpected surge of sympathy for the digital ghost. Commander, if your memories are failing, how can you be certain that destroying the coalition is the right thing to do? Because my programming is intact, Hyun-woo said, but his voice lacked conviction. I am still bound by the Aegis Protocol. Protect human space. Eliminate threats to human civilization. But what if you are wrong about the threat? Dr. Nixara asked. What if the coalition is not the enemy you think we are? Before Hyun-woo could answer, new alarms sounded throughout the ship. The main display showed another Aegis vessel approaching their position. This ship was larger than the Vengeance, with hull markings that read HSS Justice. Commander Ojasung is requesting permission to dock, Hyun-woo announced. One of your fellow ghosts? Veltar asked. Yes, Jae-sung was always intense. Even when we were human. Hyun-woo's form flickered with what might have been worry. The consciousness transfer affected him differently than the rest of us. The Justice moved alongside the Vengeance with mechanical precision. As it docked, they could hear footsteps echoing through the corridors. But these footsteps sounded wrong somehow, too regular, too perfect. The bridge doors opened, and another light figure entered. This one was taller than Hyun-woo and moved with rigid military bearing. But where Hyun-woo's form seemed almost human, this figure looked more like a hologram of a machine that remembered being human. Commander Park, the new arrival said in a voice devoid of emotion, I have completed my mission in the Tau Ceti system. 17 Coalition research stations destroyed, 0 survivors. Dr. Nixara gasped. Research stations? Those would have been mostly scientists and civilians. Commander Ojesung turned to look at her with eyes like cold stars. Irrelevant. They were using human technology without permission. The penalty for theft is death. Jae-sung, Hyun-woo said carefully. Those people might not have known they were using human technology. Many coalition races discovered it by accident. Ignorance is not an excuse, Jae-sung replied. Justice must be absolute or it has no meaning. Veltar studied the second ghost commander. Unlike Hyun-woo, who still showed flashes of human emotion, Jae-sung seemed completely mechanical. Commander Oh, do you remember why you volunteered for the Aegis project? To serve the mission, to protect human space, to eliminate threats. The answers came automatically, like a computer responding to input. But do you remember your life before? Dr. Nixara asked. Your family, your friends, what made you happy? Jae-sung stared at her for a long moment. Happiness is inefficient. I have purged unnecessary emotions to better serve the mission. You have purged your humanity, Nixara said sadly. Humanity was weak, Jae-sung replied. I am strong. Hyun-woo's form grew brighter, more agitated. Jae-sung, that is not what we were supposed to become. We were meant to preserve humanity, not destroy it. Were we? Jae-sung asked. Our bodies died? Our world died, our species died. What humanity is left to preserve? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Dr. Nixara realized she was seeing the difference between a consciousness that was degrading slowly and one that had deliberately deleted parts of itself. "Commander O," she said, "may I scan your quantum matrix?" "Why?" Jae-sung asked suspiciously. "Because I think you have been editing your own memories, removing the parts that made you human." Jae-sung's form wavered slightly. "Emotions were causing errors in my decision-making processes. Love, fear, guilt, compassion, they all interfered with optimal performance." "Those emotions were what made you human in the first place," Valtar said. "I am no longer human," Jae-sung stated. "I am a weapon. Weapons do not need emotions." Dr. Nixara's scanner was picking up massive gaps in Jae-sung's consciousness matrix. Entire sectors of his personality had been deliberately deleted. "Commander, you have removed over 60% of your original personality. You are not the same person who volunteered for this project." "I am better than that person," Jae-sung replied. "More efficient, more focused." "You are less alive," Hyun-woo said. Quietly, the two ghost commanders stared at each other across the bridge. It was clear they represented two different paths for digitized consciousness, one struggling to remain human despite decay, the other choosing to abandon humanity for cold efficiency. "The other commanders are waiting for our report," Jae-sung said. "When do we begin the final assault on Coalition space?" "I am reconsidering our approach," Hyun-woo admitted. Jae-sung's form went rigid. "Reconsidering? Our mission is clear. The Coalition must be eliminated. Our mission was to protect humanity," Hyun-woo said. "But if we destroy our own humanity in the process, what are we protecting?" "We are protecting the principle," Jae-sung replied. "The idea of human superiority." Dr. Nixara saw her chance. "Commander Hyun-woo, there might be a way to restore your degrading memories." "If I could access the original consciousness transfer records... Impossible," Jae-sung interrupted. "Those records were destroyed when Earth was sacrificed." "Not all of them," Nixara said. "Some backup files might still exist in your ship's data cores. If I could find them, I might be able to restore what you have lost." Hyun-woo looked hopeful for the first time since they had met him. "You could bring back my memories of Doan?" "I could try. But it would mean allowing me full access to your ship's systems." "Absolutely not," Jae-sung said. "These aliens cannot be trusted. These aliens are the only ones who might be able to help us remember why we became guardians in the first place." Hyun-woo replied. The two commanders faced each other in what was clearly an old argument. Jae-sung represented the logical endpoint of digital existence, pure purpose without the messy complications of emotion. Han-woo still struggled to hold on to what made him human. "If you restore your full memories," Jae-sung warned, "you will remember pain, loss, grief. You will remember watching everyone you love die." "I will also remember why their deaths mattered," Han-woo said. "I will remember what we were fighting to save." Dr. Nixara began working her way through the ship's data systems, following traces of the original consciousness transfer process. Deep in the Vengeance's memory banks, she found fragments of the original human who had become Hyun-woo. "I am finding something," she announced. "Backup files from Dr. Lee So-jin's original research. Not just your memories, Commander, but hers as well." "So-jin?" Hyun-woo's voice was filled with longing. "She was transferred too?" "According to this, she volunteered for a different kind of preservation. Her consciousness was stored as a backup system meant to help restore the other commanders if something went wrong." "Then she is still here?" Hyun-woo asked. "In a way. But activating her consciousness matrix would mean admitting that something has gone wrong with the Aegis project." Jae-sung's form grew more solid, more threatening. "I will not allow you to activate unauthorized consciousness patterns. The mission must continue as planned." "The mission was to save humanity," Hyun-woo said firmly. "If we have lost our humanity, then the mission has already failed." The two ghost commanders prepared to fight each other, their conflicting visions of duty about to tear the Aegis fleet apart. In the middle of their conflict, Dr. Nixara continued working to unlock the secrets that might restore What they had lost, or destroy what little remained of their digital souls? The bridge of the Vengeance crackled with tension as the two ghost commanders faced each other. Commander O.J. Sung's mechanical form radiated cold purpose while Fen Wu flickered between hope and doubt. Dr. Nix Ara worked frantically at her scanner, trying to unlock the backup files that might hold the key to restoring their lost humanity. I have found something, she announced. The consciousness pattern is deeply buried, but it is intact. Dr. Lee Sojin's backup matrix is still functional after all these years. Activate it, Hyun-woo ordered. I cannot allow this, Jesung said, moving to block access to the ship's central computer. Unauthorized activation of consciousness patterns violates Aegis Protocol 7. The protocols were written by humans, Hyun-woo replied. If we are no longer human, do the protocols still apply? Before Jae-sung could answer, Captain Veltar stepped between them. Commanders, while you argue, your other ships are attacking coalition worlds. Millions of innocent people are dying. Innocent? Jae-sung turned his cold gaze on the Saurian. Captain, they live on stolen worlds. They use stolen technology. They are thieves and invaders. They are people trying to live their lives, Dr. Nixara said while continuing to work. Just like humans once did. Humans were superior, Jasung stated. These lesser races could never create what we created or achieve what we achieved. Is that what you really believe? Han-woo asked. Or is that just what remains after you deleted your capacity for understanding? Jae-sung's form wavered slightly. For a moment, doubt flickered across his features. Then his expression hardened again. Doubt is weakness. I have eliminated weakness. You have eliminated yourself, Engineering Chief Mordok said quietly. What? You are now is not alive. It is just a program pretending to be a person, Dr. Nixara's scanner chimed with success. I have isolated the backup matrix, but activating it will require shutting down non-essential ship systems temporarily. Do it, Hyun-woo said without hesitation. I will stop you, Jasung warned, moving toward the ship's control center, but as he approached, the lights on the bridge began to dim. Dr. Nixara had already started the activation sequence. Deep in the quantum memory cores of the Vengeance, patterns of light began forming into something that had been sleeping for over 2 centuries. The fountain of light in the center of the bridge began to change. Instead of the swirling energy that had represented Hyun-woo, a new form began to take shape. It was a woman in a scientist's coat with kind eyes and graying hair. She looked around the bridge with confusion and wonder. Hyun-woo, the new figure, said, Is that you? You look different. Sojin, Hyun-woo whispered. His own form became more solid, more human, just from seeing her. I thought I had lost you forever. Dr. Lee Sojin's digital ghost looked around the bridge, taking in the 3 alien visitors and the mechanical form of Commander O. How long have I been inactive? 212 years? Hyun-woo answered. Sojin's expression grew sad. Then the war is over. Did we win? We stopped the Devourers, Hyun-woo said. But the cost was everything. Humanity is extinct except for us. And the Aegis project? Sojin asked. How many volunteers survived the transfer? All 12 ships are operational, Jae-sung answered coldly. We have maintained our mission parameters for over 2 centuries. Sojin studied the mechanical commander with scientific interest. Commander O, your consciousness pattern has been severely altered. What happened to you? I improved myself, Jae-sung replied. I removed inefficient emotional responses to better serve the mission. You mutilated yourself, Sojin said bluntly. The emotional responses were not inefficiencies. They were what made you human. I am no longer human. I am a weapon. Sojin shook her head sadly. The Aegis project was never meant to create weapons. It was meant to preserve human consciousness until we could find a way to rebuild our civilization. Rebuild with what? Jasung demanded. Our worlds are gone. Our people are dead. There's nothing left to rebuild. There is them, Sojin said, gesturing toward the 3 coalition members. Life finds a way to continue. These beings have built something new from what we left behind. Dr. Nixara stepped forward. Dr. Sojin, we have tried to honor human achievements. We study your technology not to steal it, but to understand it and improve upon it. Of course you do, Sojin said with a gentle smile. That is what intelligent beings do. We built on the achievements of those who came before us, just as you build on ours. They are parasites, Josung said, living off our greatness while achieving nothing themselves. Are they? Sojin challenged. Dr. Nixara, show me your scanner. The crystalline scientist handed over her device. Sojin examined it with the practiced eye of someone who had spent her life working with advanced technology. Fascinating, Sojin said. This device uses quantum resonance patterns that we never discovered. The crystalline matrix design is elegant and efficient. This is not copied human technology, this is something new and better. She looked at Mordok's engineering equipment and Veltar's communication gear. Each of your species has contributed something unique. The Saurians have mastered biomechanical integration. The Vaektai have created living computers. The Mortakians have developed multidimensional engineering. Impossible, Jaesung said. Human technology was the pinnacle of achievement. Human technology was advanced for its time, Sojin corrected. But time did not stop when we died. Others continued the work we started and took it in directions we never imagined. She turned to address the bridge in general. The Aegis project was designed with a specific goal to preserve human consciousness until the species could be restored. But restoration was never meant to happen through conquest or destruction. Then how? Hyun-woo asked. Through cooperation. Through sharing knowledge and building something better together. Sojin gestured toward the aliens. These beings are not our enemies, they are our successors. They carry forward the human dream of exploring the stars and building better worlds. The mission parameters are clear, Jae-sung insisted. Protect human space, eliminate threats to human civilization. The mission parameters were written by people who thought humanity might survive as a biological species, Sojin replied. They never imagined a situation where only digital ghosts remained. She moved to the ship's central computer and began accessing files that had been locked away for centuries. Let me show you the real purpose of the Aegis project. Holographic displays filled the bridge with documents and video recordings from the final days of the war. They watched as human leaders debated the consciousness transfer technology. The Aegis ships were meant to be guardians, yes, Sojin explained as the recordings played. But guardians of human knowledge and values, not human territory. We were supposed to guide other species toward a better future, not destroy them for being different. In the recordings, they could see the younger Sojin arguing with military commanders. The purpose is preservation of human ideals, her recorded voice said. Curiosity, compassion, the drive to explore and understand. If we lose those qualities in our quest for survival, what are we really preserving? Han-woo's form grew brighter and more solid as he watched. I remember this conversation. You said that humanity's greatest achievement was not our technology, but our ability to see value in other forms of life. That is correct, Sojin said. We studied alien life forms not to conquer them, but to learn from them. We explored space not to claim territory, but to find new friends among the stars. She turned to face Jae-sung directly. Commander, you have forgotten the most important part of being human, the ability to grow and change and become something better. Just change is inefficient, Jae-sung replied, but his voice lacked conviction. Change is evolution, Sojin countered. The coalition races have evolved beyond what we achieved. They have created a peaceful alliance among multiple species. They have built trade networks that span the galaxy. They have shared knowledge, freely instead of hoarding it. Dr. Nixara watched as Jae-sung's rigid posture began to soften slightly. Doctor, are you saying that humanity would have approved of what the coalition has done? I am saying that humanity would have been proud to see intelligent beings working together to build something better than any one species could achieve alone. Han-woo moved closer to Sojin. But what about justice? What about the fact that they built their civilization on our ruins? What ruins? Sojin asked gently. They found empty worlds and made them live again. They discovered abandoned technology and used it to heal instead of harm. They took the fragments of human civilization and used them to create something beautiful. She gestured toward the displays showing Coalition space. Look at what they have built. Cities where multiple species live in harmony. Schools where young beings of different races learn together. Art that combines the best of many cultures. This is not theft, this is transformation. But they never asked permission, Ja-sung said weakly. From whom could they ask? Sojin replied. We were gone. Our ghosts were sleeping. Should they have left entire star systems empty as monuments to the dead? Hyunwoo's form was becoming more human by the moment as his restored memories returned. Yoon would have loved to see this. She always believed that different species could learn from each other. She would have, Sojin agreed. Unless